In the past decades, we have seen an abundance of sports anime. Everything from basketball to soccer to baseball to figure skating to biking, you name it. But if you have to list some sports that sound difficult to make into an anime, running will be on that list. It may be hard to see how watching a bunch of people run can be fun, but Run with the Wind somehow manages. The anime follows a group of 10 college students trying to attend the Hakone Ekiden, one of the most culturally significant running events in Japan. It is based on a novel written by Miura Shion in 2003. Before the anime, the novel had already received a manga adaptation, a movie adaptation, and a stage adaptation. With the story already being told through so many different formats, the anime has to consider how to keep audiences that are already familiar with the story engaged. It is a difficult task, but production IG succeeds with flying colors. In my videos, I'll be talking about each of the 10 characters, mostly based on how they are portrayed in the anime. Some details from the book will be included, but they will only be used to add to what is already in the anime. Okay, let's get started. For my first video on Run with the Wind, I'm going to talk about the group's first leg, Kashiwazaki Akane, nicknamed Prince. He is a second-year literature student residing in room 204. Prince is a nickname that came from his gorgeous appearance. He is described to have thick eyelashes, fair skin, and flowy hair. Even his name, Akane, is a gender-neutral name. Physically, Prince is the weakest and the thinnest out of the 10. We know that throughout the years, Haiji has more or less handpicked each member of Otaku with the goal of Hakone Ekiden in mind. But Prince doesn't seem to fit any of the criteria required for long-distance running. Is it because Haiji has no other options? No. In the novel, during a conversation Haiji had with Kakeru, Haiji asks, what kind of personality trait suits long distance? Kakeru answers, endurance, but Haiji answers, I think it's tenacity. Did you see Prince's collection? How his head is full of manga all the time. He has it in him, that obsession and diligence to pursue a single thing over a long time. So out of all things, it is Prince's obsession with manga, a trait that has absolutely nothing to do with running, that ultimately made Haiji decide to drag Prince into his plan. As a literature student, Prince is exceptional with his words. In the book, he also mentions he went to a high-ranked high school, so Prince is, without a doubt, a sharp and intelligent person. Prince realizes very early on that there is no escape from Haiji's tyranny, so he never had the intention of backing out. But that does not mean he is compliant. In fact, Haiji had to drag him out for the first couple of practices. Think about when you are forced to do something you don't want to do, something like homework. How do you approach it? You probably write a bunch of gibberish just to get out of the way, right? Similarly, Prince could have treated the practices like games. If the team fails to make it to the preliminary, his nightmare can end earlier. But that is not what Prince chose to do. Despite his heavy resistance, he participates in nearly all of the practices, and with each run, his speed improves. After the team's first official race, he even plans to purchase a treadmill so he can practice in his room. So it is not hard to see that Prince is taking these practices seriously. Later on, when Kakeru asks him to quit the team, Prince could have easily gone with his words and say, I quit, but he didn't. Prince is willing to put in all these efforts, not just because he is afraid of his manga being dumped out, but on top of that, he understands Haiji. Not being able to run for Haiji is like asking Prince to quit reading manga altogether. With the team having only 10 members, him backing out means crushing the dream Haiji has held for 4 long years. He will not do that to Haiji. Personality-wise, contrary to his outer appearance, Prince may just have the strongest mental strength. Prince never cares about how others see him. After his first race, when people joke at him for crashing after a 5-kilometer run, all he says is that these people lack sportsmanship. Prince doesn't take these people's comments seriously because none of these people matter enough to him. But when Kakeru asks him to quit the team, for the first time, Prince begins to doubt himself. So much so that he has to spend the entire night reading manga just to clear his mind. Kakeru's requests impact Prince because Kakeru matters enough to him. Although Prince has never been a particularly warm person, he saw Kakeru as a member of Otaku from the very beginning. For example, in episode 4, when Prince sees Kakeru on campus, he invites him to have lunch with his manga club members. Later on, when Sakaki humiliates the team, Prince is also the first person to speak up and defend the members. Kakeru's request for Prince to quit the team led to a minor conflict between the two. This, alongside the other race-related duties Haiji had to handle, led to him blacking out. The day Haiji rests, Kakeru takes on the role of monitoring Prince. During the run, sensing Kakeru's dissatisfaction, Prince similarly expresses his uneasiness by asking Kakeru to run at his speed and to see how the world looks from his perspective. Kakeru sits on these words, and on the second day, the timid Kakeru knocks on Prince's door and asks to borrow his manga. Shockingly, Prince agrees, even allowing Kakeru to read in his room. We know Prince holds his manga very close to his heart, not allowing anyone to touch them. In episode 1, when Kakeru reaches his hand toward the book, Prince immediately halts him. And later on, when the twin asks to borrow his manga, he turns him down, telling the two to get their own. The only two people Prince lent his manga to are Haiji, the person who has taken care of him and everyone else at Aotake, and Kakeru. It is thanks to this experience that Kakeru is inspired to hold up a manga while Prince runs to adjust his posture. Ever since then, they often read together in Prince's room, sharing the same space, breathing the same air, flipping the pages at the same speed, synchronizing from inside out. Prince had once described this feeling to Haiji.
同じ時間に同じ漫画を一緒に読むんです。1ページ1ページめくるタイミングすら一緒になってきて、そんな時は感想など言い合わなくても十分に話し合った気分でいられるんです。
It is not hard to see that at their core, Kakeru and Prince are the same kind of person. They're fixated on one thing and dedicate their entire lives to it. And that is what makes their bonding so beautiful, to see their respective passion rubbing off on each other. During another official race later, despite his change in posture, Prince continues to struggle with his run. To everyone's surprise, Kakeru slows down, reminding Prince to move onward. After Kakeru runs past the finish line, he doesn't even bother checking his own time. Instead, he turns to cheer Prince on. It is during this race that Prince finally runs 5 kilometers in under 30 minutes. Yet, as a preliminary for the Hakone Ekiden quickly approaches, Prince continues to struggle with getting his official record. The usually calm Prince becomes uncharacteristically anxious, even heading out for an evening run. During the race next day, Prince has only one thing in mind: to move onward. The same words Kakeru said to him before. At the end, Prince runs the entire course in 60 minutes, 20 seconds, getting his official record. Looking back, everyone else got their record with someone else. Kakeru with Haiji, Jota Joju with Musa, Shindo with Yugi, Nico with King, leaving Prince to run his final course alone. Before Prince begins his run at the Hakone Ekiden, Haiji apologizes to Prince, apologizing for dragging him into this. Internally, Haiji probably felt the most guilty toward Prince. He respects Prince's tenacity, but had to put that respect away in order to drag Prince into his plan. Hearing Haiji's apology, for the first time, the gentle Prince grows upset, even mad at Haiji. The moment Prince decides to treat the Hakone Ekiden seriously, he wishes to be seen as a team member and be treated like one. Not only him, this is how the entire team thinks. Everyone on the team is aware of the grueling training it will take for them to get to the Hakone Ekiden. So the moment each member decides to make this race their collective goal, they have already waived their expectations for an easy journey. Yes, they complain all the time, but no one quits because they know what they got themselves into. Prince, too, endured all of Haiji's torture not just because he was forced to, but because he chose to. Yet, all of Prince's voluntary effort Haiji saw as forced. Haiji forgets what Prince needs now, moments before his run, is not his apology. Fortunately, at the end of Prince's run, Haiji gives Prince the right answer. Not a sorry, but a thank you. In the past 20 years of his life, everything Prince knows about sportsmanship, about friendship, about perseverance, about life, he had learned through mangas. Kaze's journey to the Hakone Ekiden is the first and perhaps the only time in his life that Prince gets to experience the stories he had read thousands of times on paper firsthand. Winning seed or not, Prince has already gained all he ever wanted in the process. In his words, depending on how you look at it, though, aren't we the lucky ones? We're a bunch of wimps, but we managed to pass the prelim, so we got to run at the Hakone. Even if we don't come out on top, I feel like it's more rewarding to actually participate in the race. When hit with something he hates inside out, Prince, instead of whining, decides to take the first step, then the next, then the next. By the time he remembers to take a look back, he has already reached the final step of his journey. Despite ending his leg as the last of his group, no one will look down on Prince. After all, who will contempt a runner who has already given his all? Hello, Potato here. Thank you all for making it to the end of this video. I heard great things about Run with the Wind when the anime came out in 2018, and I finally sat down and watched the entire anime in one sitting a couple of months ago. It turned out to be just as good as people said it would be. Anyways, for all 10 characters in Run with the Wind, I'm going to talk about their voice actors real quick. The voice of Prince is Iri no Miyu. Irino turned 37 this year, but has already had 3 decades worth of voice acting experiences. When he was 7, Irino debuted as voice actor in an anime called You're Under Arrest, voicing a kindergartner called Sho. 6 years later, at the age of 13, Irino was cast to voice Haku in Miyazaki's Spirited Away. And that was just the beginning of his career. Irino continues to become the voice of Sugawara Koshi in Haikyuu, Ishira Shoya in A Silent Voice, Toromatsu and Mr. Osomatsu, and many more. In regards to Prince's portrayal, the anime actually adds a lot to Prince's character. For example, his unique running posture is an anime original. The novel never mentions how he runs, only that he is the slowest in the team. Prince's conflict with Kakeru is also an anime original. In fact, Prince and Kakeru's friendship arc is entirely original to the anime. In the novel, Prince actually gets along better with the twins. And there are small details throughout the anime that do suggest this. Out of the 10 characters, I think Prince has the second most drastic change from the novel, with Kakeru being the first, which I'll talk about later on in Kakeru's video. Okay, that is it for now. Thanks again for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!